Welcome to the Bercich Breakdown, and we are welcomed by Pete Bercich, Vikings audio analyst, along with Paul Allen. Every week you can listen to the Vikings broadcast, and last week had to have been a pleasant broadcast for you. Vikings come away with the win. I think it's first NFL team to be shut out by 25 and then shut somebody out the next week by 25. So pretty impressive. This team finds a way to make it interesting every week. So is what we saw, this is the big question everybody's asking, is what we saw last week sustainable moving forward?
It should be. All right, that should be our expectation. I think Coach O'Connell pointed out a number of times this week that how important the running game was. Whether or not the Vikings will be able to run the football as well against the Cowboys, it's kind of we'll see. The Cowboys have a good defensive front. Kenny Clark, we're familiar with him. Osa Odighizola, he's good. Quinnen Williams, he's good. I mean, they've got some good interior defensive tackles. So, how well we run might determine that fact.
Okay.
But we're the 28th ranked offense going against the 29th ranked defense. Unfortunately, it's been through the air, which has been the tough part for the Cowboys.
So with the running 34 times, that was, I think, tied the season high or set the season high. Do you see Kevin O'Connell changing his thought process now, and will he stay with it if he doesn't have the early success that he had last week against Washington?
Well, we'll see, right? Yeah, I mean, there's so much that we learned, I think, watching that game. And I think one of the things that you realize is how easily games can get away from a team like the Commanders. When our defense is able to take the field with a lead, right, with a two-score lead, then offenses just can't run the ball twice and throw a short pass and just play the sticks game where, we might get a couple first downs. We'll just punt. Our defense will stop their offense and, we'll play that game. When offenses try to press, that's when we can goad them into mistakes. And it'd been a long time since we had an interception, and then we come up with two. It's been a while since we had really even a fumble recovery. Had a couple against Seattle, but none of them went our way. And then we ended up getting one with Javon Hargrave. So getting offenses in that position to throw the football is important. The one good thing about Dallas is that they're going to end up throwing the football no matter what. I just don't think they can help themselves. They have Javonte Williams is a good running back, but yeah, they want to put the game in the hands of Dak Prescott. And getting pressure on him is going to be important. He's pretty good. He's pretty good against the blitz. He's been accurate. The only time you see him get a little sloppy, if you will, is when you're able to get him on the ground and pressure him and hit him and affect him that way, which our defense is pretty good at doing. So I think that's kind of the key right there.
So our defense is opportunistic when they have a lead. Is that when Flores is at his best, or when it's inexperienced quarterbacks that he goes against? Which of those factors?
I think both. I think,
okay.
I agree with you that against inexperienced quarterbacks, he can throw so many looks at them that they're gonna struggle with it. And I don't think it's necessarily the success is against aggressive offenses, right? You're more aggressive when you're behind, but any offense that's aggressive and wants to throw the football and get down the field and have the quarterback take a 5-7 step drop, right? Those long developing plays.
Yep.
The more aggressive an offense is, I think the better our defense is suited, game plan wise, or more opportunistic in those cases.
All right, JJ McCarthy put together his best game as a pro in his very short window. Do you see what he did? And everybody said, and you'll have to be the expert on this and explain it to us that are watching, the slendering of the playbook. What exactly that meant And can you continue to have whatever they gave him last week work next week? Or do people look at that and they go, okay, well, we see you in this formation. We know he's only doing 2 options off of it. So it can't be sustainable that way.
Yeah, I don't know if simplification is the best word or the most obvious word. I think the one thing that he did do was make decisions quickly. Even during the course of the game, on the TV copy, they were putting up how long McCarthy had held the ball in the pocket, and previously he held the ball as long as any other quarterback in the league. I think he and Caleb Williams were number 1 and number 2 when we played Chicago as far as holding on to the football. So,
which is not a good thing.
Well, no, if the reason you're holding the football is because you got routes way down the field that you're trying to diagnose, and you're not, that 10th or half of a second faster or anticipating what's going on. I just think they changed his reads a little bit, gave him the if and then. And they said, if you get this, then do this. If you get that, then do this, right? And he was able to do that. He was able to operate and make some good throws. Especially in the middle of the field. So he's capable of making good throws. It's just a matter of, I think, getting him comfortable and having Coach O'Connell get comfortable knowing what the kid can do. Right. And and it's not just when I say what the kid can do, I mean what JJ McCarthy is really good at doing, where he's better or as good as anyone in the NFL. If that's the short underneath or middle between the hash mark passing game, well, then you start there and build from that. The one thing that is yet to be seen is how Justin Jefferson is going to integrate into what they're trying to do offensively. I think McCarthy's passer rating thrown to Jefferson is 47. It's the lowest of 36 eligible quarterback receiver pairs. 6 out of his 10 interceptions thrown at Jefferson. So yeah, he was trying to force the ball to Justin Jefferson. So how are they going to work that out? Specifically, I mean, those are internal things we'll see as we go. But those, I think, are the next challenges.
Is that a big hurdle to overcome to get Justin Jefferson back in the mix, or is this just a progression? They were talking about pure progression this week a lot about how things are being handled offensively.
Yeah.
So how big a step is this to get Justin Jefferson back in the rotation on a consistent basis, back to where we've seen him with 70, 80, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns?
It shouldn't be too difficult to get him more touches. Just exactly how far down the field those touches are, that'll get tough. He attracts a lot of attention, right?
Right, absolutely.
And the one big catch that Addison had was because the corner basically squat on Jefferson in the flat. So when teams are paying special attention to him, it opens some other things up. So there will be opportunities against Dallas to catch and run. We saw Detroit just absolutely murder them on short passes, and they struggle with tackling. I don't know if we'll see as much man-to-man as Detroit saw, but there was a lot of if the quarterback can make a quick decision and get the football out quickly when there's separation between the receiver and the defensive back, then there's a lot of hay to be made after the catch. So my prediction would be that if Jefferson gets above 75 yards, a lot of that, I think a good chunk of that will be, it won't be throw, catch, tackle. It's going to be throw, catch, run, short throw,
right,
quick catch, and then run for a while.
All right. Now, Pete also has his own YouTube channel, Eye of the Sky, Pete Bercich. You can Google him, or at the end of this video, it will kick you right to this week's matchup. Vikings versus Cowboys, the film preview. What is it that you're going to drill down on? What are Viking fans going to learn from this video?
Well, we'll see that Dallas has probably the best wide receiver room in the NFL, and that's no slight to our own. CeeDee Lamb, he's questionable. with the concussion protocol, having 10 days. I think, I have a feeling he's going to play, especially when it's Sunday night. George Pickens, probably one of the best slant runners in the league, and that's no slight to what he can do either.
Right.
Very physical. He's very, very good when DBs try to play the physical game with him. And on top, and then there's Ryan Flanoy, who's the number 3 wide receiver, who's very, very good. They also got this Cavante Turpin, who is a speedy, quick, explosive guy. He's their number 4. So all 4 of these guys are going to get their touches. And then Jake Ferguson, their tight end, he's a pretty big, he's a good receiver. He's like number 2 in the NFL, I think, in receptions as a tight end. He's kind of Dak Prescott's safety blanket, which he's, with the offensive line being banged up, he's needed that quite a bit. So this is the number 1 offense in the league now. So these guys can get up and down the field. And that's how they do it. They want to throw the football, trust me, and they're going to want to do it on Sunday night.
All right, so just listening to you there, I would assume that it's all about getting through to Prescott. But do they have to do it with the blitz? Because if they have to do it with the blitz, after you rattled off that wide receiver core, the Vikings, if they don't get home on that blitz, there may be potential trouble there.
Yeah, and I think the big thing is whether or not Tyler Guyton is going to play. He's their starter at left tackle. Nate Thomas has been filling in. He's doing an okay job. I think there's opportunities there for sure. Tyler Guyton, if they get him back for Sunday night, that'll be a big boost to their offensive front. And then Terrence Steele, their right tackle. Big, strong guy, but he struggles with speed. So, Jonathan Grenard, Van Ginkel, Dallas Turner, that's kind of their bit. So, yeah, it's again, knowing Flores, he's gonna, if he doesn't have to blitz to get pressure, he won't. But he's probably gonna throw a bunch of different looks. That's the problem. That's the challenge, I think, with Dak Prescott is he's a veteran quarterback.
Right.
He's seen quite a bit, so you're gonna have to be very careful with what you do, especially with CeeDee Lamb, who guy can catch a hitch and turn it into 30, 40, 50 yards. One guy misses a tackle. We're going to have to tackle very, very well. If they do get a throw out and there's a reception, we need to get these guys on the ground quickly because all these receivers can run. What do you see Turpin run? This kid he can fly.
Really?
So, yeah, they've got a ton of speed.
All right. Now, for the viewers out there, you want to ask Pete questions, you can put them in the comments, and then we'll get around to them next week. So even after you watch the Dallas game, you got questions, you can throw them there. I'll scrub back, look for them. Or you can tweet them at Pete. He's on X at Pete Bercich or Fox 9 Sports. We can take care of you that way, too, because we want this to be a learning session for the viewers, trying to get you more insight than just the surface, which normally I do is just glaze over things.
No, and that's kind of the fun of it, right? It's just how you make the game compelling, just knowing more about the sport, knowing about what teams are really trying to do, who's out there, the key players. I mean, all that stuff I think makes a huge difference.
Well, and it makes it more pleasurable to watch because you can watch your own battles going on. The offensive line, first time all 5 have made it through a whole game all season. Was that?
Well, they didn't make it through the whole game.
Well, oh no, we lost one. Well, no,
yeah,
they took.
Well, Darrisaw,
yeah, but they took about to rest him though. That
wasn't the whole game.
Well, I understood. To the point where it was well in hand.
Yes.
How much did that group being on the field together for as long as they were, not the whole 60, but for as long as they were, how much did that help that running game? How much did it help McCarthy? Or is the Commanders' defense really not that good, and so you can't really grab a hold of that video and say, this is how it works, this is what we could do moving forward?
Well, you're seeing other teams in the division, especially with Chicago and Green Bay and Detroit, dedicating themselves to running the football. It helps you in the pass rush, defending the pass rush. It helps sell your play action, which also works very well against Dallas. So those guys up front are critical. And we already talked about how the running, we had more rushing yards against the Commanders than we did passing yards.
Right.
And those longer rushes later in the game were because we were able to wear them out up front. Keep these guys on the field. It's the same thing. It's kind of how the league is now, where you watch the first series, right? And you see Dante Fowler and Ozigizuwa and Clark and Williams and Sam Williams, and they're killing people. They're murdering offensive linemen and tight ends. And then you get to the third and fourth quarter, and it's a little different story. So keeping those big guys on the field as much and as long as possible matters, and it matters a lot. And I think it matters more and more in this day and age of the NFL.
All right. Remember Pete's video from his YouTube channel, Eye in the Sky, Peter Bercich, Vikings versus Cowboys, and the film review for you. You can check that out. That'll come up right after this. You can check Pete out Game Day Live on Fox 9 Sunday morning. Listen to his call with Paul Allen, the audio version on KFAN or Vikings.com. And also, he will make a cameo in Vikings Postgame Tonight from the Big D. Do you like that stadium? Is there anything unique about it compared to the other ones in the league? Is there something that fans should look for the Vikings have got to deal with?
It's like walking into a giant Macy's. It's fancy, right? Marble floors, chandeliers. The people that work there, you can ask anybody where something is and they know, right? It's really unique in that regard. I think they have the same people at the same spots year after year after year. The scoreboard in the middle of the field used to be a big thing, but now after going out to LA and some of these other places, it's not as big of a distraction as it used to be, but it's a huge stadium. It's like Arizona. It's just gigantic. You can fit 90,000 people in there if you wanted to, but it's a great place to play. It's Sunday night, national televised game. This is what the Cowboys are all about, right? And they have a very strong alumni group, if you will, and those guys hear it from them. They hear it from the old guys when they're not doing their job or when things aren't going well. So there's a lot of pressure. I mean, there's a lot of pressure with every team in the NFL, but I think in Dallas you're just more under the spotlight than anywhere else. So I think, like I said, these guys will be bringing their A game.
All right. We know you always bring your A game every time you're on. Yeah. We appreciate it. Yeah. Pete, thank you so much. We will talk to you Sunday. Don't forget, Eye in the Sky is also available for you as well. That'll do it for now. Join us Sunday night right after the game, 10:35. We'll have immediate post-game reaction from Mr. Bercich. Until then, we'll see you later.